All right, fandom, we are live. Welcome. Thanks for tuning in. We have got a great show for you tonight. We have joined with us, Matt Alquiza, who is with PanthersSI. He's a big Panthers fan, and we're going to talk to Matt and kind of get an idea about his fandom and how he became a fan and everything associated with him. But first, I just want to say hello and hi to our panel. Of course, we've got Cowboy Joe. I'm Jeff Hasley. And Brittany Schmidt as well. Guys, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. I'm excited. Excited to get back into the season.
Getting ready for my Cowboy game later on.
Of course. Well, guys, 1 second here. We're going to get right back to it. But first, our intro.
Inside the 30, inside the 20, McCaffrey touchdown.
All right, guys, thanks again for joining us. So, before I get to Matt, and Matt, hopefully I pronounced your last name correct. Is that right? Is it Alquiza?
Yeah, that's great.
All right, awesome. Brittany, I want to talk to you real quick because you were at FanFest. I want to talk to you.
Yeah,
how that went, and then we'll introduce our guest here. But quick, just give us a lowdown how it went. I know it was rainy, but I'm sure it was a lot of fun.
Well, I have to say, Jeff, it was a really fantastic experience, especially for someone who grew up in New Jersey, who didn't really have access to be able to go to things like that as more accessibly as someone who grew up, was born and raised down here around the team. So it was a great experience. I hung out with good old hype man Lucci, who is Brian Burns' older brother. Really fantastic guy. I hung out with a bunch of my Roaring Riot friends. And yes, I have to say the team looked pretty sharp. I mean, it wasn't really a serious practice. It was more like a fun practice. You know, you can kind of see Brian Burns dancing a little bit on the field. It was a lot of fun though. But the rain was definitely interesting. But my favorite, my honest to goodness favorite part was just I had really good seats. I sat in the Roaring Riot section. On the, so I got to see like right where they come out, I could see sweat dripping off Sam Darnold's face, and it was pretty great. And then of course they had the fireworks and the light show and the downpour, but just the experience in general, I can't even pinpoint one specific moment that really felt magical to me, because I think the whole thing just felt magical. Like I got to meet so many people that I've known for years on Twitter. And, they want to meet me. So they're like, hey, come over here. I'm here. Or they'll come up to me. And it's like, it's weird because it's like you build relationships with these people you meet online and you bond over a team, and then you bond over other things. And then you see them in real life and it's like, you're my friend. It's not like weird. You wouldn't know that it was like your first time really meeting up in person. It's like you see them and you hug them, and it's just it's an amazing experice.
We've got a fun camaraderie, I think, don't we? And I'm sure that was a great time for your first time in the stadium. So
oh yeah. I was like taking everything in, and I was just like, and of course, my husband Tom, being the Cowboys fan he is, he was so excited for me. And he did wear a keep pounding bracelet.
Hey,
we're starting. So I got him with the bracelet. So I mean, that was.
It all starts with a bracelet, though.
What were you gonna say, Joe?
I have a burning question. Did we see the connection of Darnold to Arnold? I have to make that popular this year.
That's right.
Of course, I saw the connection of Darnold to Arnold. They happened actually like on my end zone once during the Fan Fest, and then it also happened in Spartanburg. I got to see that when I went on the 31st. So I mean, Wofford College, I gotta tell you, like they're really organized. The direction into and out of the stadium park, they're very thorough, I will say, and it's a very organized practice for the fans, and they had a lot of awesome things. And I don't know if you guys saw the picture, but I was actually the only disappointing thing was apparently Luke Kuechly was like hiding behind the bushes and I didn't see him. So that made me sad because I love my Luke.
Yeah, there you go. Well, that sounds like an awesome story, and that's what Carolina Fandom's all about, is introducing people to other people and kind of growing that fan base and learning all about fans. And that's one of the reasons why we got Matt on the show. And I want to take that opportunity to say hello to Matt.
Hi, Matt.
Matt, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do. I know I mentioned that you write for PanthersSI. That's a very prestigious site to write for. Of course, a lot of information. But tell us a little bit about yourself, how you became a Panthers fan. We'll start with that.
Yeah, glad to be here. Thanks for having me on. I've been looking forward to this since we talked about it last week. Became a Panthers fan. I grew up, actually pretty similar to you, grew up in New York, in the Northeast. Was not really a huge football fan until I moved to Charlotte in middle school. And my transition from a New York sports fan to a Carolina sports fan actually started with the Bobcats, unfortunately. So I was a huge Bobcats fan all throughout middle school and high school, and kind of just started following the Panthers around like 2010, 2011. I was like a sophomore, junior in high school, and, all my friends were Panthers fans, and I didn't have a football team that I followed super closely. I called myself a Giants fan because they were beating the Patriots in the Super Bowl. But yeah,
I think we were all Giants fans.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
that time, yes.
I was a Giants fan, and being the kid from New York and Charlotte, I was like, oh yeah, I love the Giants. But yeah, I couldn't tell you anything about them. So yeah, fully dove into football fandom and Panthers fandom in high school, and been here ever since.
Awesome. That is amazing, and I totally gel with your story because, you being from New York, me being from New Jersey, like my father tried really hard to get me to share in his misery of being a New York Jets fan. And that is honestly, and the accident of how I became a Panthers fan because I was supposed to be an only child. So my brother is 8 years younger than me. He was a happy accident, but that's another story. He's the Jets fan. So my dad did get one of the two of us, but at that point, he thought, okay, this is going to be my only child. I'm going to teach this child my love of the game. But it just, even when I was a kid, I didn't really care about the Jets. Like, it was like, I knew I didn't want that misery. And they so happened to play the Panthers, and that magical Sam Mills interception was really, that was it. That sealed the deal for me, and ever since, that's a great story, Matt. Reminds me of my own a bit.
There you go. Well, hey, fandom, there's something I want to share with you, but not till the end of the show. We've got a big announcement to make, so make sure you stick around. I do want to talk about the Panthers and about the offseason, about their training camp, about the upcoming season coming up. But Matt, just real quick, as far as game day is for you, do you go to many games? Do you go to like a bar, watch the game? Do you watch it at home? Do you watch it with friends? What's your typical Sunday game day like?
Yeah, I'm very lucky. My in-laws actually have season tickets to the Panthers. Yeah, so my wife and I, we get to go like 3 games a year. We split the tickets between my wife, her sister, and then her dad will go. Split the tickets evenly. So normally I'm in Bank of America Stadium at least 2-3 times a year. Unfortunately, didn't get to go last year, but I will be there on Saturday of next week. So very excited to be back. But yeah, if I'm not at the stadium, I'm just watching the game at home on the couch with my wife and dogs. Living in Aiken, South Carolina, it is a college football town, not an NFL town. So yeah, there's not a ton of people who are looking forward to Sundays as much as they are looking forward to Saturdays.
Yeah, what was it? Clemson, right there, correct? Is that the college town that's near there?
So we're a couple hours from we're like 2 hours from Clemson and an hour and a half from Columbia. But and then 2 hours from Athens, Georgia. So really, it's like
right in the middle of everything.
Yeah, melting pot of whatever SEC team you root for. You're not too far from another fan.
All right. Well, hey, that works. So I want to talk to you. Because you have a background in, of course, writing for the Panthers. So you have an understanding. I'm sure you have your analysis hat on. What, if I could, I wanted to ask you, what your thoughts were with just the offseason. But did you have a favorite offseason move that they made? I mean, there's a lot. We can talk about the draft. We can talk about a signing. What, in your opinion, was your best or favorite offseason move that they made?
Yeah, I think my favorite offseason move they made was probably drafting Terrace Marshall. I think, Sam Darnold is a whole another situation that's a completely different discussion. But for him to succeed, he's going to need to have a really good team around him from what we've seen in his time with the Jets. So I think, surrounding him with playmakers, drafting a third receiver who seems like he'll be a very solid NFL talent, I think, is really just going to set up Sam Darnold for success. So, yeah, I think that was easily my favorite move of the offseason, getting a guy who is going to produce this year, but then fill in for Robbie Anderson next year if we don't offer him the contract he's looking for. And then, he'll seamlessly kind of fill in Anderson's role while also producing this year.
So we had a draft show after the draft, and we talked about the draft and the decisions that were made, and of course all the trades that Scott Fitterer made. What was your immediate thoughts and thinking when Carolina went with J.C. Horn at 8? Was that your in your wheelhouse there? Were you looking for offensive line? Yeah, Rashawn Slater was someone who was thought of to be a possible pick there. You've got Fields as well as at quarterback. What was your take when the Panthers took J.C. Horn? Because it seems like no matter who you ask, Panthers fans, everyone seems to have like their own specific type of, oh, I wish it was this, or oh, I'm happy it was that. So where do you stand on that?
Yeah, I was disappointed it wasn't Justin Fields. I think, the main thread in every successful NFL team is having a superstar quarterback. I mean, it is very, very rare, like a perfect storm of events needs to happen for a team to win a Super Bowl without a superstar quarterback. And what we've seen of 3 or 4 years of Sam Darnold is that he is not that. He has not been even an average to above average NFL quarterback. So my thought is, if you take a bite at the apple, or if you have a bite at the apple to get someone who could be a franchise quarterback, you have to take it. And Justin Fields was sitting there. He fell into our laps at number 8. But then they drafted J.C. Horn, which, is a position of need, obviously. Our secondary is not the strong suit of the team, so he will slide in right away and start week 1 across the field from whoever will be the number 1 receiver on the Jets. But, yeah, I wish it was Justin Fields. Until the Panthers have a franchise quarterback, I'm all for them just taking swings at whatever they could find.
Yeah, the opposite, actually. I wasn't really high on us taking a quarterback. And actually, given Sam Darnold's situation with the Jets, I don't really think it's a fair assessment. I mean, Adam Gase was his head coach, and we all know Adam Gase has a history of, potentially ruining quarterbacks, anyone under. Look at Ryan Tannehill, right? Then he had that resurgence when he got out from under Adam Gase. I think that, I watched now, and this is me watching in the practices. Darnold has a great arm. He really does. He can stand in the pocket. He can throw it. It's his decision-making skills, but I think that's a coachable thing. He has tightened up, and even Matt Rule had said, yesterday's practice, they said was atrocious, but then, when they asked, they said Sam Darnold was the least of the problems.
Yeah.
It was mostly the receivers that were having the issues with route running.
Well, we've got it. We've got a, it depends on who you ask, but some people are all for Darnold. Some people are against it. Some people are like, well, I got to wait and see and whatever. Matt, how do you feel about Darnold? It sounds like you wanted Fields, so you're probably maybe a little bit, out of the loop in terms of Darnold being the guy that you think is going to get it done.
Yeah. I'm not anti-Darnold by any means. My thought process is until you have a franchise quarterback, you have to do whatever it takes to get one.
Yeah.
But Sam Darnold is 23. He is still young, and like you said, Brittany, he was not in the best of situations in New York.
Now, if he's given these opportunities and he fails, then it's an accurate assessment. Then you can say, you know what, we gave him a shot.
Yeah, exactly. And the minimum he'll be here 2 years, so he has 2 years to prove himself. And if he's bad, I mean, we'll probably be picking near the top of the draft again to take another swing at getting a franchise quarterback at the top of the draft. But, I think it's an upgrade over Teddy Bridgewater because there's just a lot of unknown with Sam Darnold. Like I said, he's 23. He's young. He's been in a bad situation. He is incredibly talented on the surface. We knew what we were getting with Teddy Bridgewater. We knew we were getting a league average quarterback who was not going to be a difference maker. Sam Darnold still might have that in him. We don't know for 100% fact what he is yet because we have not seen him in a good situation. So I'm, again, iffy on Darnold. I would obviously love for him to come out and, have a Josh Allen-like resurgence and set the league on fire, but I'm doubtful that he can do that until I see it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of my attitude too comes from as well, growing up with Jets fans. I've unfortunately had the privilege or the displeasure of seeing a lot of games. So when we got Robbie Anderson, of course there were people in the fandom that were like, I don't know, but I was like, wait till you see him play, because one of the positives of being exposed to all that Jetsism is sometimes you see players that will get and people are unsure, and you can kind of vouch for them.
Yeah, Joey, I wanted to ask you this because, obviously you're the Cowboys fan, but you're also a Panthers fan. So, that's we know that, right? But what do you think is the biggest concern right now? What are you looking for when you're watching the Panthers when they play on Sunday? What do you think is the biggest concern? Is it offensive line, quarterback?
That is I've been preaching to the choir all year, last year, all the year, this year, before the draft. It's that offensive line. Darnold will not be able to show me anything until that offensive line is able to protect him.
Yeah.
That kid has a 3-second drop that he could throw that ball away real well, but he needs that protection. He has McCaffrey coming back, which gives him a little bit more help. But the biggest concern for me is that offensive line.
Yeah.
Always has been.
Plus, during the practice with the Colts, it seemed like the offensive line was getting manhandled a little bit by the Colts defensive line. At least that's what
they didn't know gaps. They didn't know how to hit the gaps. They didn't know who to block.
So that all has to come together. That definitely has to come together. We can't be giving up sacks, obviously. Watching that offensive line, I think, and I agree with you. I think that's the biggest thing that I want to see, and I also want to see what they can do on offense. Of course, with Terrace Marshall being the new great shiny big toy. Matt, it sounds like he's your guy too.
Have enough time to throw it, you're not going to be able to see that new shiny toy.
Now I gotta ask you, Matt, what do you think of Terrace Marshall wearing 88? I gotta ask you how you feel about this. I can't come to grips with it. That's Greg Olsen. I can't.
I kind of love it. You can't name a single good receiver who is in the 80s anymore. I think. Tyler Boyd wears 83. He might be the best wide receiver in the league that has a number that's not in the teens. I think Terrace Marshall is kind of setting himself apart from some other wide receivers. Obviously, it's Greg Olsen's number, but it's not retired yet. So it's up for grabs. If in a handful of years I want to retire Greg Olsen's number, I'm sure Terrace Marshall would be happy to change. But no, I think it's great. I think. That we don't see many wide receivers with numbers in the 80s anymore, at least good ones. So hopefully we have that here.
That's true. And I'm excited to see, Terrace Marshall. I'm excited to see Dan Arnold. We got to get that Arnold phrase going. And, we'll talk about that a little bit later in the show with our big reveal. However, Dan Arnold, 6'6", 222 pounds. It doesn't sound like a tight end, man. That sounds like a big wide receiver, and that's kind of exactly how he plays. And with Carolina's red zone offensive touchdown percentage being 28th in the league last year, they had to do something. And they haven't had that big, tall, rangy type of receiver since Olsen, right? Yeah. So Arnold comes in; he'll be a big piece. Marshall, who we already know is a big touchdown scorer, 23 touchdowns in 19 games with LSU against SEC competition. Among the Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase, that he's being overshadowed by, right? So I don't think the world really knows what Terrace Marshall is capable of, including us. we just don't. I mean, he's someone who's making strides, obviously, and he's a big story in camp. You talk about him in fantasy leagues, in fantasy circles and stuff, right? So, I mean, he's definitely getting the eyebrow raising treatment right now, right? Because everyone seems to be interested in him. I'm really curious to see what he's able to do and how fast he's able to pick up things. What's his ramp up time going to be? Is he going to take over Curtis Samuel's role? Will he be that big slot receiver? Will he be all over the field? And if he is he really going to understand those routes and be able to run them like he's in midseason form? So that's what I want to see. Joey, you already mentioned offensive line, and I'm not going to discount that. Absolutely, we got to see the offensive line. I don't even care if there has to be shifts, Moten goes over to left tackle, if indeed it's needed, or Cam Irving plays really well, or Greg Little plays well, or we got to figure out the offensive line. So I think that's important. And of course, Darnold. If Darnold can move the ball, the first series, all right, let's just say this happens. And are we getting McCaffrey in the first preseason game? I don't even know. I don't even know if we should.
We're not getting Darnold in the first preseason game.
No.
Is he not? Is Darnold not going to play?
Start this Sunday.
Got it. All right. So whenever Darnold does get his first preseason action and he gets that first possession and he's, making plays and it's not 3 and out and he's moving the ball, hopefully that's what happens, right? We all want that to happen. And if he can get down into the red zone and score, I think that's going to say a lot. 1, about his confidence. 2, about where the team's headed. And 3, the fan base is just going to be like, woohoo, yeah, we are ready to go. So, and I mean, I can't wait to. It's a great opportunity to meet you, Matt. I'm looking forward to having other Panthers fans on the show so we can talk about them. Shoot, I mean, I gotta stop talking because I'm rambling here. I'll let you go, and I'll give you a topic maybe. How about the schedule? Right, the first 3 games of the season I think are winnable, right? Because you've got the opening week is against the Jets, right, and that's right here in Carolina. September 12th, and then they play the Saints, also at home, week 2. And
we usually get them at the end, which I thought was very fascinating. We usually get the Saints around like November, December is when we see them. So it's interesting. So, that was one of the first takeaways I had.
Right, and now the Saints don't have Breeze. They've got question marks at quarterback. They've got they had a cornerback who retired. Michael Thomas is hurt. So they've got some questions of their own. And you don't want to say rebuild in New Orleans, but they're kind of rebuilding, sort of, even though they may not say that.
Yeah,
but they are.
That dark horse is Payton. Payton is going to make sure he's going to have a sound game plan, no matter what it is. And he's going to play control football. That's his forte. He's going to control with Kamara. He's going to control with whoever he has at quarterback. And you have to be careful. Yes, they have a quarterback dilemma. But if Jameis Winston just takes care of that turnover thing that he has, that kid's dangerous.
They also have that Tyson Hill kid. Who's not really a kid, but, I call him a kid because, I like to, belittle the Saints in any way I can. That's like my, most heated rival.
Has right now the edge on the starting QB, but his turnover is the problem. Now, if he could get that under grips, oh my God, you see what he could do with Tampa Bay. He's done it before. When he plays good, he plays really, really good. He plays superstar level. When he plays bad, he plays like let me tell you something. It's more like Powell Orton kind of plays.
So, all right. So the Panthers get the Jets and the Saints, 2 home games right in a row, and then they travel to Houston, right? Winnable game. Matt, what do you think their record is after 3 weeks?
Optimistically, I think they could be 3-0, but I mean, Joe, you were kind of saying that I don't think the Saints are going to be the walkover that some Panthers fans are hoping they will be. I mean, the biggest advantage in Bank of America Stadium that Sunday will be the Saints having Sean Payton. I mean, that guy will make chicken salad out of chicken crap. So, I mean, I'm not overlooking the Saints at all. I mean, the Panthers should come out week 1 and beat the Jets. Rookie quarterback, first-year head coach. That should hopefully be an easy win. And if it's not, it will raise some questions. And then going into Houston, Don't know who's going to be their starting quarterback. Wow. Another first-year head coach. Optimistically, the Panthers could be 3-0. I think the Saints game is more of a toss-up than it has been in years past. I don't think we beat the Saints since like 2018 or 2019. But again, definitely not a walkover. And I mean, really, honestly, the Panthers should start 4-0 if they have a really walkover game in Week 4 as well. So we'll see.
Joey, what do you say about that? Who the Panthers play Week 4, Joe?
My Cowboys, and we're not a walkover anymore.
We
have the number 11 Micah Parsons / Luke Kuechly remix that's going to be all over the field.
Yeah, I fell in love with him watching Hard Knocks this week. My brother told my brother he's a Cowboys fan. I texted him. I was like, man, I love Micah Parsons. This guy's awesome.
No, and he had a great game in
limited time too.
Yeah, he had a fumble.
He was all over the place. He was all over. He was the right place, right time, made the right plays, right reads. Yeah, he looked great.
And you know what I like about him? He's driving Van Der Esch and Jalen Smith to be better. Because Van Der Esch was in Hard Knocks saying, hey, can we get someplace too?
I
can see some competition there.
Yeah. And then, of course, after Dallas, Week 4, then they've got the Eagles, the Vikings, the
Giants.
That's
a walkover game. The Eagles.
Yeah.
Eagles, Vikings, Giants. And then they get they get Atlanta, which first not the first division game because they played the Saints. And then let's see, they play the Patriots. Do you think Cam Newton's going to be playing for them at that point?
The way Mac Jones looked yesterday, I don't think so.
Probably not, right? But that would be great. This is Cam's return to Charlotte on November 7th.
Whichever quarterback is there, Belichick is going to make sure he's going to, like I said, Peyton has that cerebral kill you with the run. Belichick has more, I'll kill you with everything I give you.
Yeah. You think the Panthers fans cheer Cam?
Oh, they should.
Yeah, 100%.
They should, right?
Yes, they should.
Yeah, you think Cam's going to give people the ball if he scores?
Oh, he's going to be emotional. He's going to be all over the place, yes.
Looking for Panthers fans, Patriots fans, some kid, right?
You're going to see that Superman come out in that end zone.
It's so funny. I actually saw someone at FanFest, and I had to bite my tongue really hard because they were wearing a Cam Newton jersey, but it was a Patriots Cam Newton jersey. I'm like, at least have the decency to wear a Carolina Newton jersey when you're in our freaking stadium, man.
If you have a Patriots Cam Newton jersey, you definitely have a Panthers Cam Newton jersey somewhere in your closet.
Exactly. So pull that one out. Jeez.
Yeah, you know what? That's one thing I want to see is I want to see the stadium take over just Panthers fans. If we have a team that's visiting Philadelphia, Chicago, Dallas, Pittsburgh, right? Green Bay, one of the bigger ones. I just want to see that.
You play us at home. You play us at our home.
Yeah, in Dallas.
Yeah, it's in Dallas. But I'm just saying that I want to see the Panthers fans just come alive and completely take over that stadium. None of this visitor crowd business. I hate seeing that. How do we improve upon that? How do we get that?
You don't have to worry about the Eagle fans. There's about 2 fans anyway now. That's the only things you got left over in the Eagles fans. So Minnesota has the snow, so they don't got nothing there. I'm sorry. You guys could be potentially 5-2, losing to the Saints and losing to the Cowboys.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. Of course, everyone's having these illusions of grandeur, and of course, you have to go out and take care of business, of course, right? And a 1-0 team is better than an 0-1 team, even psychologically. So hopefully, if they can beat the Jets, that's a good start. We want that. But let's start with preseason. The first drive that Sam Darnold has, let's sure hope that it's not like a 3-and-out, because that's just going to be like, oh boy, here we go, right? And that's kind of how people look at it. And I don't want to say that, but shoot, I mean, we all want to see that. We want to see him succeed. We want to see him do well. I can't wait for them to play. I mean, all these other teams. I think
there are some Panthers fans that really just don't want to get their hopes up, because they just don't want to be disappointed. I mean, we've been. I mean, let's face it. We are a young franchise, right? We have gone to 2 Super Bowls, and we lost. And that I think that in general, when people remember, especially the 2015 season, the 2015 season was just so magical, and there was such a high, and then. It was then overshadowed by, Peyton Manning retiring. And then, I mean, let's face it. I kind of got a bad feeling the night before because I was like, they're gonna do everything they can to help him ride off into the sunset. I'm not saying it was fixed, but I'm saying that there was a bias in that situation to see that guy go out, not taking anything away from Peyton Manning.
I disagree completely. I think the Denver defense really knew how to play against Peyton.
Cotchery caught that.
They knew how to play against Cam Newton.
I
They
will die
stopped
on
him
that
every
hill
angle.
that Cotchery caught that.
Von Miller was all over Cam every play.
Von is.
It sure seems like after that Super Bowl, Cam Newton's career kind of, I don't want to say went downhill, but it freaking went downhill. The next year, of course, that was remember the big game against Denver, the
opening game.
The opening game. He got hit.
They killed us.
Hit hard. I mean, he got concussed most likely, came back anyway. But it just seemed like that whole, and then that year went by, things went, and he stopped doing the dab. That was his whole thing. That was the big thing with Cam, right? He was the showman, and he could. You could
tell he wasn't having fun anymore.
Yeah, it was kind of. Then of course, then he got hurt, and then he got hurt again, and then just everything just kind of went downhill. And you could say that the pinnacle of his career was that Super Bowl, and he just didn't get it done. And it's sad because he had such a strong season. He had such a strong season, and the Panthers had one of the best defensive outputs ever in a Super Bowl, and yet they still lost.
Yeah,
that game came down to like 3 plays. But anyway. Oh my goodness! I did not know that I was going to be talking about the Super Bowl. Here, look at me going crazy.
We regress to the Buffalo Bills days. Jim Kelly saying all this.
Yeah. Hey, I grew up a Bills fan, so I've seen it all. I mean, I've seen all of the heartache and stuff. So I'm just waiting for some pomp and circumstance.
The difference
fireworks
with that team, Buffalo and Carolina, the year after is that Buffalo turned out again the second year, and then the third year, and then the fourth year. They were there.
Yeah.
But the point of that I was trying to make was, I think as a young franchise, our fans, not all of us are often really hard on the team. We accomplished a lot for a young team. I mean, the Eagles, it took them, I believe it was 73 years to win that Super Bowl. I mean, we are a young franchise, a young team, and we have accomplished quite a bit. So I do think that we will get there. We are going in a positive direction. And, as far as the Colts go, the Colts had a top 3 defense last year. It's a great measuring stick. And it also it shows just how much potential for growth. I mean, Frank Reich was there, which of course was one of our former quarterbacks. That was great. And he was talking to the players after the practice, our wide receivers, giving them, advice and talking to them. And, I thought that that's great. And I think that it's a great opportunity, and it's definitely something that we'll grow from. It's a positive, even through the painful moments, there's positive takeaways. I like to look at the glass half full.
No, and I agree with you. They had a lot of accomplishments that most NFL teams have not even accomplished yet. And these franchises have been there for centuries, they've been playing, not centuries, but, decades,
Decades, you mean?
They're the old Greek gods.
Back in Rome.
Back in Rome, we played, but we lost.
I mean, look at how old the Vikings franchise is, and they haven't won a Super Bowl yet.
Yeah,
until they get a quarterback, they're not going to win a
Cleveland.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at Cleveland now, though. Cleveland now is becoming more, let's get the right pieces in there, which I like. I'm not a Cleveland fan, but I like that they're getting the right pieces in there now. Detroit's a big question mark, and they never, they're the NFC Jets. So
yeah.
So Matt, what kind of articles do you normally write for Panthers SI? Is there any specific category or anything that you specifically do, or what's your bread and butter?
Yeah,
do you have a specific article that you recently wrote?
Only been writing for PanthersSI for maybe like 2 weeks now.
So
really
okay.
all I've done,
Nice.
all I've done is like some training camp recaps. I've done like 3 like recaps of Coach Rule's press conferences. But yeah, that's all I've done so far. So looking forward to, once the season starts, there'll be a little bit more content and, meat on the bone to pull articles from. So yeah, still getting my feet wet in it.
As a Panthers fan, you also mentioned the Bobcats. How about that?
Yeah.
Hornets, of course, I'm sure. But what about the Charlotte FC, the soccer team that's coming next year? Any interest there? Are you a fan there? Are you a soccer guy?
Yeah, I love soccer. I'm a huge Arsenal fan in the Premier League. So yeah, really, if there's anything I do before a Panthers game on Sunday, it's watching the 12 o'clock kickoff, whatever Premier League game is on. So yeah, definitely very excited for Charlotte FC. I have not watched a ton of MLS. I know it is definitely a lesser product than what I'm used to watching in Europe. But if Charlotte is on the crest, I'll be watching it and become a fan.
Yeah, and it's all kind of based on mostly domestic players, right? And being able to bring in what is it? I think what did they talk about?
Like
3,
four internationals.
4 international is it? What it was? Okay, yeah. So we're all about growing the fan base too for Charlotte FC, and we want to be there. During game days, we want to be there with the fans, interviewing the fans, being a part of that, getting a press pass, and enjoying that whole process. So yeah, if you want to hang out with us when that happens, that's our goal is to be a part of that. So yeah, you're more than welcome.
Yeah, no, I'm all in. Yeah, all in with professional soccer team being in Charlotte.
Awesome. I can't wait to see what they're going to unveil in terms of their kits that are coming out. I think that's coming in November. That's what they said. So looking forward to see what the uniforms look like, and I think that the passion is just going to grow from there. That's cool that you're a soccer guy too. How did you become Arsenal fan?
A guy I went to college with was a huge Arsenal fan. I love sports in general, basketball, football, baseball, whatever. I started watching soccer when I got to college, and one of my buddies is a huge Arsenal fan, and he was like, "Hey, start watching matches and we can talk about it." So really, that was it. This is really not a cool story. Just a guy saying, "Hey, start watching Arsenal," and I was like, "Yeah, all right, I'm in."
All right, let's watch this team. All right, tell me about them.
I've got nothing to do on Saturday mornings. I'll have to flip them on for a couple hours before college football starts. It's great. That's
cool. Well, yeah, we definitely want to grow that fan base here for Charlotte FC, as well as the Panthers, the Hornets. That's cool. So where can people find you? You got your Twitter address there. Is that probably the best way to talk to you and just kind of engage and start conversation? Yeah, if you ever want to talk Panthers, talk fantasy football, that's kind of the other thing that I write about. Very into the fantasy football world. Right there's my Twitter account, Alquiza, FFB. Awesome. Cool.
I'm excited for my fantasy football season. My team name is Feel the Burns.
Yeah, there you go.
Nice. I like it. I like it a lot. Did Brian's brother give that to you?
Huh? No, I'm really good at coming up with like fantasy football teams, like names. I'm really good at it. Like one year I was the Luke Ness Monsters.
Love it.
I was, when Cam was playing, I was Queen of Cam a lot.
Nice.
So I had a few good ones. Yeah.
So guys, I want to use this opportunity and time to unveil a big surprise and a special announcement here for us at Carolina Fandom, as well as just Carolina fans in general. Is we've opened up a Carolina store of merchandise. So we've got hats, we've got shirts, we've got hoodies, we've got you name it. There's all kinds of different things. Now we're still getting things into the store, so we kind of have a little bit of a small inventory right now. Not inventory. The inventory is whatever you want it to be, right? But as far as products are available, that's kind of what we're looking to grow, and we'll be adding some new stuff on there. But I wanted to give you the opportunity to take a look, so you can support our show, Carolina Fandom. If you're a fan of the show, great. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, do it now. And if you really want to help us out, you can order some Carolina Fandom merch or Carolina merch, and I'll show you what we have here in just a second. Let me go ahead and bring that up.
Oh, yeah.
guys, this is what we have. We've got the Carolina Fandom shirt. We've got, of course, we're trying to really hype that Darnold to Arnold connection. So we've got that.
That's the shirt I'm going to get. I'm going to get the Darnold to Arnold.
Yep, and we've got the T. Marsh jersey, or the T. Marsh shirt, excuse me, for Terrence Marshall. T. Marsh being, of course, his nickname. So we've got that for those of you who are interested in Terrence Marshall, as well as hats. So if you want to support us, Carolina Fandom, we really appreciate that. If you're interested in that, you can go. I'll put a link to the website in our comments here. But yeah, check that out for sure. You can get your own Carolina Fandom gear, and we'll be adding new stuff too as well. And we'll post that on our Twitter page as well, so you see that. But yeah, that's our big reveal is that we are excited to be able to provide that for not only Carolina Fandom fans but also Carolina fans. So in addition to that, I wanted to show some pictures that Brittany took from FanFest. Here's Brittany, right?
Okay, well, this was at Spartanburg.
Oh, this is in Spartanburg. Pardon me. Okay.
No, I would love to tell this story though. With this,
go ahead. Go right ahead.
So I was up at the top of the bleachers and watched the practice. It was great. Well, we were leaving, and of course, everyone was trying to leave at once. So I hung back, and Stanley McClover, and that's Hype Man Lucci's name. He actually played for us back in 2007. He was actually Julius Pepper's backup. He did a few snaps, but he that's his big brother. That's Brian Burns' big brother is Lucci, and Lucci was out on the field, and I just saw Brian interacting with one of my friend's kids, and I would just yelled. I always had this really loud, obnoxious voice, and I hated it. But in this case, it paid off because I was like, Brian! He looked up and he pointed and he told me to come down. And the NFL has a rule they can't sign anything, but he did take the picture. And the really cool thing is Lucci actually has a picture of my husband taking the picture of me and Brian. So if you go on Hype Man Lucci's page, he's really, like I said, I can't speak more highly about the Burns the whole family. From Brian all the way to his mother is lovely. They're a wonderful family, and they're someone that you can really get excited to support. And I mean, not only that, he's super talented. I mean, Brian freaking Burns is
Absolutely. It looks like he's motioning to you. He's like, hey, call me. That looks like that's what he's doing right there. He does.
I said that was kind of funny because my husband's literally taking the picture. That's what makes it funnier. But yeah, he's really great.
That's cool. That's awesome. I want to get Stanley on the show. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
I can definitely see about making that happen.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm sure he's got some stories. I'd love to have a bunch of fans on the show. If you're a fan and you're watching right now, you're listening, and you want to be on the show, let us know. We'd love to have you on. That's what we're all about. We're not necessarily about breaking down film, even though we do that, right? But we're about the fans. We're about the fans of the Panthers, of Carolina sports.
Yeah, we want to hear from you.
If that's you, yeah, we want you on the show, just like Matt here. And looks like we've got some other pictures. Let's see.
There's Hype Man Lucci.
There he is on the right here, right?
On the right, yes. Mm-hmm. That's
who's your friend there?
Older brother. Yep.
Who you with?
I'm with my friend Anna.
Okay.
She's also a member of the Roaring Riot. So as you could see, you could see how close I am to the field.
Oh yeah.
My seats. I was up in section. I was up in row 5 or 6. I was 105, and I was in the third seat. So
got it.
It was really. I mean, I couldn't have asked for better. And then of course you can't really tell with that picture, but me and the girls, that's me, Allie, Joan, and Bay. We're hanging out. We were drenched from the rain, and we took a picture in front of Sam Mills' statue because, of course, I could not take a picture. That's my guy right there.
Yep,
my
there you go. Great pictures. And then what's this? This is just the fireworks after
fireworks.
During the rain? I guess it happened during the rain.
Yeah, it was raining when I took that as well. Yeah. But it just was just such a beautiful, because the fireworks were going off, but it was pouring. It was almost like the Twilight Zone, but the way the fireworks were going off in the rain, it just made the sky look so pretty. It was just such a beautiful night. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's cool, man. And thanks for sharing those pictures with us.
Of course.
So, guys, we want to
my
have
other
you
family.
Yeah, we want to have you on the show. If you're a Panthers fan, like any of your friends there too, Brittany, if they want to come on, I mean, we'd love to have people on, and we can have multiple people on. It's the stories that I want to hear.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Cowboy Joe, big game coming up. You already have your second preseason game. Carolina's not even played one yet.
I know. I'm jealous.
What's going on here, man? What's going on? What time does the game start?
At 10 my time, so 10 our time.
Right.
So,
gotcha.
Yeah,
all
today
right.
I'm really off. Centuries and 10.
I know.
That's
I'm
cool.
probably gonna watch. I'm gonna watch that game with Tom. I'm just excited that football's back. I mean, to be honest, I don't care like even what teams have been playing lately. I just want to immerse myself back in the game. Like
I'm concerned about the quarterback situation right now. If Dak is truly hurt, then I need to see these quarterbacks, and I don't think any of them are the solution. So,
Yeah.
Do you know who's starting tonight?
I think Ben DiNucci is.
Woohoo! Preseason.
I feel like
Cooper
if we're
Rush had
talking,
some good snaps in the Hall of Fame game.
Did you guys hear that the Hall of Fame game had a better rating than any of the regular season NBA games last year? That includes their Christmas Day game, and this is a preseason game. The Hall of Fame preseason game.
We were deprived last year of football most of the year.
True.
Then we had no preseason, and now everything is back to normal. Then we need this. Football fans need this, no matter what it was. And it was an iconic game, Pittsburgh versus Dallas. And a lot of Hall of Famers for both teams.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. But it was also up against the Olympics, too, and it still outperformed it. But
well, come on. Drew Pierce is the one that made the show there. Come on. Everybody needed root for him to retire.
So we've got the Colts preseason game coming up Sunday, 1:00. Hope you guys watch that, of course.
Yeah.
Then it's August 21st against the Ravens, and then the 27th against the Steelers, and then they get a week off, and then it's week 1, September 12th. It's before you know it, it's going to be right here.
I can see Darnold playing against the Steelers.
Yeah,
I don't know about week 2.
He's going to start the third game, from my understanding, from what Rule had said. This week it's going to be PJ. Next week it's going to be Greer. And then Darnold will start the third week, because I think really ultimately the big reason too behind that, obviously you don't want to beat up your starters before the season actually starts, but you got Greer and you got Walker that are kind of competing for that number 2 spot. Like who's going to be, QB2 in that instance.
That's a real battle, because I don't know if we really know. I think maybe right now it's
I want to
Greer.
see what they got.
Yeah, we're gonna find out, because you never know. I mean, what if Darnold is less than advertised, right? And there's an issue and he struggles, then what? So
I can see you guys calling Phillip Rivers in November.
Yeah, exactly. So we got a lot of stuff coming up. We got, of course, as I said, the 3 preseason games, and we'll talk about it. We want to have you on the show, Matt. We appreciate you coming on.
Thank you for coming. Thanks for your time.
Thanks for having me. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, thanks so much.
To come back.
Yeah,
whenever
absolutely welcome to come back.
Find a guest, whenever you want. I'm here.
You know what, Jeff?
Right.
Let's do this. Let's do a week 1 preseason start-off kickoff party with anybody here joining, just like we did with the draft. Let's do it.
Okay. You want to have like multiple people join us?
Let's do it.
I think we can do that. I don't think I think I'll be free on Sunday, so I think we'll have to plan that. We will have to plan that. And this will be my last show without having any Carolina Fandom merch. You're probably like, well, how come you don't have anything? It's because I just opened up the store here, and I've got orders coming. I've got orders coming. I swear I do. It's coming. So if you're interested, go ahead, buy a shirt, buy a hat, support us. You can get a sticker. Get a sticker for your car. If you support us, we appreciate that.
Carolina fans, the Cowboy Joe jersey is coming.
The Cowboy Joe jersey. Yeah, if you want a Cowboy Joe jersey, you can, or shirt, you can. And too, I'll be adding some new stuff as well, different designs. I've got a Brian Burns design I'm working on right now, and there's one that I can't use because of
We need to get a
copyright
picture of
infringement.
the three of us that we can stick on a shirt.
I mean, we could do that too. In some sort of yeah,
Just
right.
like
We'll have to
really
figure something out
corny,
for that.
like-
But
like a bit emoji.
yeah.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that. We'll post more information on the website on the Twitter page, so you guys can see it there. We'll put it on social media. So appreciate that. Again, if you are supporting us, give us a follow. We appreciate that, of course. Matt, any closing thoughts?
No, I mean, again, thanks for having me on. I really enjoyed it. Y'all are great.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on. We
I
appreciate
expect
that.
you to be there week 1 with us.
Hey, if it's not Sunday, I'm there. Sunday I'll be in the stadium. But yeah, the weekend before, I'm in.
Awesome.
Nice.
Cool. Well, thanks so much, Matt. It's nice meeting you. Thanks for coming on, and we will see you guys next. Hopefully, if we do a show on Sunday, we'll let you know. And if you're interested in coming on, let us know. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Good night.
Christian McCaffrey in the open field, inside the 30, inside the 20. McCaffrey touchdown.